Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're watching and reacting to a Levi Hildebrand video. Now, this channel used to go under the name of Future Proof, but they've recently had a switch up, a change up. Things have gone down in the background, but that's okay because from what I have seen, they still push out some pretty interesting and good conversational topics. And today's video is why convenience is killing us. Apparently, things being too convenient is bad for society. Imagine that. Imagine the convenience being an issue. Well, I might have a lot to say about this. The link to the video will be in the description down below, so please go and check it out. And let's get into it, yeah? Hello?
Our modern consumer society is almost completely driven by convenience.
Convenience?
Anything
buy everything online, huh?
Imagine it can be delivered to your door within days or even hours. You can
True.
be driven from your home to your chosen destination at the click of a button, and you can have hilarious videos of kids wiping out on slides served to you before you even ask by a magical device that you can fit in your pocket. All of these luxuries that I just mentioned are supposed to make our lives better, to give us more time, to entertain us, and to make our lives more convenient. And in some
that had to be 100% a skit, right? That right there had to be a skit, right?
literal sense, that is true. But what we are sacrificing for this idea of convenience is so much more than most people understand.
Okay. Why convenience is killing us, guys.
Today's video is sponsored by Ground News.
Ground News? I love Ground News. I'm a big fan of Ground News. Ground News is great. Go check out Ground News. Use code LH, Ground News /LH to get 40% off their Vantage plan. 100% a huge supporter of Ground News. Anyways, on with the video.
And this shift, along with a bunch of state rights, because of how much time seemed to have had more of an economic impact than the internet. When it
wait, what? What happened here? Huh? Oh, I thought there was going to be a little news bit, but no, he just says go check out Ground News.
Laundry. And believe me, this is going somewhere, so bear with me. I am one of those weird people who actually enjoys doing laundry. I like the process of cleaning up my home and organizing things and making my little world feel under my control, maybe. I'm not making
I mean, laundry is fine to do, but enjoy it?
this up. Like, look, like my laundry rack is right here beside where I'm filming right now.
You recorded yourself putting that up, sir, for the video.
Like I just do laundry. Look, I'm a real person.
Everyone does laundry.
Suck measurably more without a washing machine. The washing machine is something
I wash clothes without a washing machine. It's easy to wash clothes without it's very easy to wash clothes without a washing machine.
That we all collectively take for granted, most likely. But it is an incredible technological innovation that in some cases has been argued to have had more of an economic impact than the internet. When it was first invented, it literally changed people's lives. It was seen as a huge win for women's rights because of how much time it was going to save the average housewife. All of the time that people were saving,
it doesn't take that long to wash clothes.
Could be dedicated to other
but
stuff.
Again, you know what? I am only washing clothes for myself. So, but yeah, I wash. It's either I wash clothes by hand, which is fine, or I take it down to a laundromat. It's easier, it's cheaper just to wash it by hand. It's super easy to wash clothes by hand.
And this shift, along with a bunch of other technologies in the home, like dishwashers, have contributed to a huge...
I have a dishwasher, but I've literally never used my dishwasher in the... God, how long have I been staying in my house? 4 years? And in the 4 years I've been in my house, I've never used my dishwasher. I've washed all of my dishes by hand.
Boom in productivity that enabled more women to enter the workforce. However, there is a huge difference between the convenience of owning a washing machine and the convenience of getting your laundry detergent delivered to your house on Amazon. See, if convenience is about reducing our workload and making...
I don't get my laundry detergent delivered. It's easier just to go to the store and get it personally.
our daily tasks easier, we kind of already have it made, right? Like, most people's lives are as easy as they can pretty well get. I'm not saying that we're just floating around in futuristic entertainment pods surrounded by constant stimulation and nourishment like Wall-E or whatever, but we're getting kind of close. If you wanted to, I thought about this when I was writing the script, actually. Like, if you wanted to, today, you could live years without ever leaving your house. Like, you could have everything delivered to your door, you know, food, toilet paper, daily needs. You could scroll on your phone for social time and entertainment, and you could have FaceTimes with your family, whatever, if you got lonely. Like, you could do everything by yourself.
And look, he's not even including like video games in here. He's not even including video games. And yeah, he's 100% correct. You could, I mean, there are people that never leave their house. You know, I try to leave as much as possible, go on a hike, not a hike, it's walks. I try to go on walks, right? There's nowhere really nearby where I can go on like a super like intensive hike, but I try to go on walks. There's a nice lake near me that's really nice to walk by. Yeah, but no, you can 100% get everything done for you if you want to. I've tried like the grocery delivery stuff. It's fine, but you are paying extra on like the delivery fee. You don't know if like the groceries you're gonna get are, you know, the ones you would pick. Like if you're picking a lot of veggies, like I do, I have to go and pick out a lot of vegetables specifically for like my guinea pigs and stuff. And sometimes I don't know if they purposely do it, but they get the stuff that's like almost bad. It's really frustrating. So it's actually, for me, it's simpler to just go to the store, walk around the store, and get the stuff. So as far as a social time, I don't use TikTok. I don't use Facebook. I don't use Instagram. I don't use Snapchat. I talk on Discord. You know, I have YouTube. I talk to a lot of people on YouTube. Yeah, I work at home. I work from home, so there is that. I do work from home. I don't use any of these weird apps down at the bottom. I don't know what any of that is. I don't know. Let's keep on with the video.
I think that's actually the problem. All the things that I just described could be construed as convenient, right? But what this convenience is giving us is not the freedom to go and do more enjoyable things. In fact, it's actually doing the opposite.
It's trapping you.
For example, one of probably the most convenient and easiest ways to just ingest the news of the world is just scroll mindlessly on your phone. However,
I don't do that.
There happens to be a bunch of billionaires that own these social media platforms, and they're extremely biased in what they show people. They also don't really give a shit about fact-checking or the truth in any way whatsoever.
Is this the sponsor bit?
That it is worth taking.
That's the sponsor bit.
Culture is eroding. Easy in the parts that are already easy and too hard in the part. Yeah. There is a line in Cooked where Michael Pollan says, you can eat anything you want as long as you cook it yourself. And what he means by that, and what I think convenience culture is eroding, is
I do all my own cooking.
to the work that makes
I cook all of my food. I don't eat out. I haven't had fast food in, I don't know, 2 or 3 years now. Yeah, it's been about that. Not last year. This whole year, not last year, the year before. 2.5 years. I haven't had fast food in like 2.5 years. I haven't eaten out in a restaurant in almost a year now. Last time I ate out at a restaurant was last September.
Makes our daily lives possible, and the joy that comes from it. It seems like in the wake of all the legitimately helpful inventions that made our lives easier, big tech companies have started trying to simplify the parts of our lives that were mostly based on pleasure. Why cook and clean when you can have skip the dishes, deliver it? Why go to the grocery store when you can have Instacart deliver it? Why go on a blind date? Why call a cab?
Tinder's weird.
Visit a friend?
Tinder just added, I saw on my news feed, from like a weird, I don't even know what the news outlet was, but the Tinder is adding a height chart like preference thing, so women can put in like their height preference for men, and anyone below that height preference just is not served to them. I thought that was pretty funny.
Why play split screen? Why go to a language class?
Hey, what?
Why call a cab? Why visit a friend? Why play split screen?
Well, I use Discord to talk to people. What are you talking about?
Why go to a language class? Why talk to a concierge? Why go to a book club? Why go to the movies?
I don't use Netflix.
I'm not saying that all
I've been boycotting Netflix. I don't use Netflix.
Of these things are bad ideas. A lot of the conveniences that we are talking about are marketed to people who have been hardest hit by the hyper-consumer world that we live in. There's a lot of hard-up people that need their food delivered because they're wiped out from delivering food all day. I am by no means saying that people with disabilities or single moms who have no time shouldn't be using Instacart to buy their groceries. But the popularity generally of these things is a symptom of a culture that is obsessed with this idea of convenience.
DoorDash?
And look, I know
That's
I'm talking
weird.
about like these companies, but
That's
you know the ones
weird.
that I'm talking about, and we've popped a bunch of them up on screen. And almost all of them, if you look into it, are promising to help you achieve your goals or live a better life by eliminating the work that's required to get there. But what you don't see is what that convenience is replacing. Now, we have already made a full video taking a huge crap on Uber Eats because they're stupid and terrible, but it is just such a great example. So we're gonna.
I agree.
Uber Eats.
I agree. These, at least here in the U.S., these food delivery companies are not very good. Upcharging weird delivery fees, subscriptions now. If you want the food to be delivered faster, you have to pay extra. It's super weird.
Does none of the work that makes getting food into your body difficult. The ingredients are already being grown somewhere else and shipped by someone else, and the meal itself is being cooked and prepared by someone else too. The only thing that Uber does is organize another person to bring that food for you to eat. All they do is allow you to more easily find food options in your area and help you avoid a slightly awkward phone conversation. But for that service, they can end up costing you an additional 90% on your
Oh my goodness. What? That's wild.
your meal through their commission and delivery charges, and you end up eating a cold stir fry out of a paper bag. And then on top of this, as we talked about in our full video, they also make it just extremely difficult for restaurants to stay afloat. They have sort of cornered the market because most shoppers use their service to find those meals, but the commissions that they charge to these restaurants force them to raise their prices or lose money in the process of selling their food. You should really just go watch that whole video. I get really mad in it. But it's not just that these companies are glorified middlemen gouging us at every turn, or the fact that they're exploiting their labor, which we're gonna get into later. It's that they're actually ruining the things that they are claiming to make more convenient. And there's probably no better example of this than Spotify. I think this is the best example.
I've never used Spotify. Whoa! Actually, you know what? I take that back. I've used it to listen to like the Joe Rogan podcast back in the day when he first switched over to it, but I hardly listened to that podcast. So I've never used Spotify. Is that crazy? Is that crazy? That might be crazy. That might be crazy.
Of how something intended to bring people joy has been
But
diluted.
but also on that front, I don't have any CDs anymore. I used to have a lot of CDs. Actually, I'll be honest with you. Oh well, there's that. I'll be honest with you. I was more of the type to switch to MP3s and just utilize MP3s. Now, where I got those MP3s, we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it. But I preferred MP3s. But I was around at the time where like CDs were very big and common. And I know there's a whole new deal these days with like buying records because it's vintage, it's cool, it's hip. I don't know. I don't know. It's just not for me.
Young enough that this is the only kind of as well. Didn't even name. Or in some cases, you're not struggling to listen to music in all the moments in your life where you wish that you could, like the
There
vinyl
it
record
is.
player. Vinyl is
Nope.
pretty
Is it right here?
lose money in the process of selling their food. You should really just go watch that whole video. I get really mad in it. But it's not just that these companies are glorified middlemen gouging us at every turn, or the fact that they're exploiting their labor, which we're gonna get into later. It's that they're actually ruining the things that they are claiming to make more convenient. And there's probably no better example of this than Spotify. I think this is the best example of how something intended to bring people joy has been diluted and ruined by big tech. If Spotify and Apple Music are the monoliths of the modern music industry, then the outdated and archaic technology that they sought to replace would be like the vinyl record player. Vinyl is pretty objectively a cumbersome and inconvenient way to listen to music, right? The albums are big and delicate, they take up a ton of room, each one only holds like a dozen songs, and when it's over, you have to physically get up and flip it over in order to listen to more music. CDs were a big leap forward, but they still had some of that quirky inconvenience, right? There was cool art that you could look on the outside. You had to treat it with a certain amount of respect because otherwise your CD would get scratched and then you wouldn't be able to listen to your music anymore. I remember being told that if you rubbed deodorant onto the back of a CD, it would fix it. And I think I just ended up ruining my CD player. In some cases, these CDs hold music, and you could burn CDs like a mixtape to have only certain songs that you
I burned a lot of CDs. I burned a lot of CDs.
like, then share it with other people. Then iPods and iPhones put music into your pocket in a whole new way. This arc represents a huge shift in how people listen to music, and at this point, you're not wishing that you had more music. You're not struggling to listen to music in all the moments in your life where you wish that you could listen to music. Most of the convenience has already been taken care of. But then Spotify made music limitless. Any song, any album, anytime, anywhere. Music is no longer an experience. It's no longer a ritual of any kind. It's like the paint on your walls. It would be weird if it wasn't there. Now, you may or may not be able to tell, but this is kind of personal for me. My Spotify use, I realized over the course of the last couple months, has been reduced to AI-generated playlists of stuff that I've already listened to or from artists that I couldn't even name, or in some cases apparently might not even be real. And
Wow. Yeah, that is a pretty big problem, I feel, that with today, people don't really know where things are coming from when it comes to like music and stuff. People just listen to it. It's just like force fed to them, which sure you can like kind of correlate that with like the radio. The radio just kind of played whatever, but I think it's even a bigger issue with like what he's saying here with Spotify.
it's changed my relationship to it as well. I don't play music to listen to music anymore, but
Just
to
do
have
it to
it
fill
on in the
space.
background while I
Yeah.
eat or work out or while I'm editing. And if you think that this is normal or you're young enough that this is the only kind of music experience that you remember, ask somebody what it was like to be in a record shop or what it was like to go into an HMV. People like me remember
fun.
when music was like a social glue that brought people.
Yeah, it was fun. There was like, oh, hey, that new album's coming out. Let's go and get it. You get a big group of friends to go out there and get it, man. It was a lot of fun. I remember it. I remember it. Even though I was like, it was like the tail end of that experience by the time I was old enough for it.
Together. And of course, like that still exists. There's still hype artists that people get really excited about. But Spotify has done nothing to make that better. And if anything, it has made our consumption of music way more arbitrary and passive than ever before. But probably the most legendary convenience brand that everybody thinks of is,
Amazon?
of course, Amazon. Now, Amazon's big innovation, much like Uber Eats, basically was to allow you to stay home while the thing that you want is brought to your door. This combined
That's
with
funny.
their ability to sell things for the lowest
The problem with Amazon now, though, it's filled with so much like just third party cheap junk garbage that you're just better off not. Like look right here. We have these like third party crappy brands like LOAAO black metal framed or ADDNUSS Queen mattress. Like what are these? What is that? What is that?
possible price has made Amazon the behemoth that it is today and has spawned many
Oh my god. Did you What is that? Did you guys Voy Joy Women Workout Impact Shorts. Wow.
many other services like Temu, which we've made more than one video about.
Temu's absolute garbage trash fire. Don't order from Temu.
And here's the thing, the convenience that Amazon and all of these services provide distracts from the cultural connections that they replace. Prime has eroded our standards to the point where we expect 1 or 2 day shipping from any given item at any given moment, and that's just about the most important thing. In the writing of this script, I actually canceled my Amazon Prime account. I'm honestly
nice.
surprised that it took me this long. I'd been paying for it for years without
I don't have Amazon Prime right now.
actually realizing it. And then when I posted that on Instagram, I had more than a few responses from people asking whether or not there were any alternatives for where they live. My responses were a bit tongue-in-cheek at times, but this is just the kind of crazy thing that we are locked into now, where we forget that we can buy real physical stuff from real physical stores.
Yeah,
and
go
that
to the
we
store
might
and get it.
actually enjoy the process of doing it. When you realize that the whole point of this weird life that we're living is to just do stuff and exist, you kind of have to start looking at this idea of convenience a little differently. We have our meals, tech, clothing, music, and whatever else delivered to us to save time, right? So what are we doing with that time that we're saving? We must be doing something else, right? Think about it for a second. What do you do with the time that you saved? Are you scrolling?
I was gonna say people probably just scroll on like shorts or TikToks or something.
More on Instagram? Watch something quickly on Netflix? Are you getting a little bit more work done? Did you reply to some messages on Slack? Suddenly, it is clear that we are stuck in a consumerism feedback loop. And this is where it honestly clicked for me. Like at this point, I realized that the conveniences that these modern services provide were actually just rushing me through all the most enjoyable and meaningful moments of my life and then making me pay money for it in the process. Like, why am I paying $11.99 for some AI bot to tell me what music I should be listening to? I should be spending 5 minutes going through my albums to find one that I forgot I loved. I should be cooking a meal that I have been thinking about trying out for weeks. I should be going for a walk to the restaurant down the street to get some fresh air and to pick up my pad thai. I should go shopping at my local bookstore to buy a book, or I should go to the library to rent one. Hey, I should be doing the frickin'...
Oh man, he reminds me. I need to go to the bookstore. I wanted to get the Jurassic Park book. Thank you for reminding me, Levi.
Zumba class with my neighbors in the park instead of watching some YouTube video on YouTube. And I think that speed has a lot to do with it, right? Like, our tech-driven world is so fast-paced that we've been convinced to give up all of these precious moments because we just don't have time. And once you start looking at it from this other direction, you realize how much we've lost. Do you notice how all of these apps end up with you being alone? So much of the loneliness and the depression and the disconnection that we feel today can be linked back.
I have almost no apps on my phone. Is that weird to say? I just have basically nothing. I have Discord, I have X, I have YouTube, I have my bank app, PayPal, and then other than that, it's just the pre-installed stuff on my phone. Oh, I take that back. I bought Balatro for my phone 2 weeks ago. That's the only apps I have on my phone other than the pre-installed apps. Am I just anti-consumer? Weird.
Activities and experiences that these services have replaced. We don't catch rides with our friends anymore because of these services. We don't have gym buddies. We don't make mixtapes or recommend songs to one another organically or fall in love on the dance floor because there is some easier way to do it, an easier way to do it for a monthly cost. And another angle here is that all of these conveniences always come at the expense of other people, of the workers on the other end of that Uber Eats order or Amazon delivery. Look, I'm sure a lot of you know this, but delivery drivers are making the bottom end of minimum wage and have even taken legal action against companies like Uber Eats for exploitation and unfair dismissals. The Instagram account Common Earth puts it best when they said that convenience is not good for the garment workers making fast fashion for cents a day, or the Amazon workers forced to pee in bottles for the sake of hyper-fast production. And I'm gonna add to that it's probably not to the benefit of the artists that are making 0.0005
139,000 streams on Spotify and only $45. I mean, that's about right, I think. Now, if this were sales, yeah, sure, physical sales, that'd be something else. But 139,000 streams, that I would say that seems about right.
Cents per stream on Spotify or whatever. But all right, let's cool down for a second, because the good news is I'm not the only one who is realizing this. We've found a bunch of TikToks and YouTube videos that have talked about this similar kind of thing, and I think there is a general awakening happening that convenience and big corporations are not...
I didn't even know that this was a movement. I'm just doing my own thing. They're doing convenience by talking about the convenience on the TikTok. It's the same thing.
Actually playing into our best interests, which is what we've been talking about on this channel for fucking years. But here's
whoa, he dropped the F-bomb.
Is making a comeback right now.
I don't like Vinyl.
It's arguably actually kind of overhyped at this point, but here's the reason why. It's tangible, it's ceremonial, and it gives an experience to the idea of listening to music. We also made another video about that if you wanted to watch that one. Vinyl listening bars are opening up more and more as people want to convene and listen to music together, which is a crazy idea that a couple of years ago even we would have thought was kind of weird. IRL gaming has been taking the world by storm in the last little while, with games like Dungeons and Dragons gaining popularity like crazy. And yes, a lot of people are still getting their meals delivered, but when they...
Dungeons and Dragons have always been popular.
Get tired of paying way too much for cold noodles, they might join the millions of people who are cooking for themselves. I mean, look at Cook Talk or Cooking Instagram or whatever it's called. There are so many people...
This is such a weird concept. This looks AI generated.
people out there cooking for the sake of cooking. Run clubs are increasingly popular because people want to run and fuck their friends. Just kidding. There is a resurgence of speed dating because what do you know? Tinder sucks. And all in all,
Well,
I think
yeah.
we're slowly starting to figure out that
course it
spending our
does.
entire lives online can actually be pretty detrimental. And in-person connections, whether that's the person at your grocery store or your local cobbler or whatever, are actually
I've never gone that deep. Local cobbler, never done that.
pretty important to our well-being. Leaving the house, buying locally, and doing things that take a bit more time just opens us up to more chance encounters that we might not have had otherwise. I love being asked for directions by a stranger, or, you know, a little off comment to somebody because I like their sweater at a bar or something. We need to stop being afraid of things taking a little bit of time, or us having to put in a little bit of work, or that, God forbid, we have to have a conversation with another human being in the real world. Because in fact, it might just be the thing that we need. Thank you so much for watching this video, for supporting what we do. If you want to see more of it, like, subscribe, check us out on Patreon. See you next week.
I mean, yeah, I agree. When things are too convenient for you, you tend to fall into a deep spiral downwards. Now, that being said, some of this is a necessity for some people, like specifically like disabled people. I think this allows them more freedom. You know, if they aren't able to go to these places or do certain things, then, you know, these services are really good for them. I think it's just a matter of limiting how much of something that you do and use. It's just about limiting it. You don't want to overconsume. You don't want to overconsume the convenience narrative. All right, I'm gonna read some of these comments. I'm just interested in seeing what some of these things have to say. Have you noticed how many of these apps just end up with you being alone? Yes, as a mental health therapist, I have noticed this, and knowing how important high quality social contact is for people's well-being is really scary. My grandmother spent most of her adult life doing laundry on a wood stove with a washboard for a family of 8. When she was 72, she and my grandfather moved to a small town where my mom and dad lived, and bought a little house with electricity and indoor plumbing and a gas stove, and praise the Lord, a ringer washer. She was in heaven. Would she have used the laundry service? It had been available in 1960. Of course not. It wasn't that she didn't want to do the laundry. It is in fact that before my grandparents moved, she had to take an entire day to do laundry, boiling the clothes in a big wash boiler and a top of wood stove. Not to mention starting and maintaining a fire in the stove, scrubbing stains in a washboard, drawing endless pails of water for washing and rinsing, and then hanging everything on the clothesline to dry. The ringer washer took care of the donkey work. Donkey work. She didn't mind hanging clothes on the line, starching and ironing, folding with the ringer washer. She could wash small loads several times a week instead of huge amounts on one day. The heavy, tedious work was done by the machine, and she only had to do the things she actually enjoyed. To me, that's not a convenience. It's just a better way of accomplishing a task. The next person that tells me they don't have enough time to do anything has to show me their daily screen time. True. Hobbies, dude, you should be enjoying at least one hobby. I'm sitting here knitting while I consume your content. It's final square of the blanket I will be connecting all the squares together for, and then I will have made a blanket. Very cool. How crazy that literally today at work I said to my coworkers, what the hell are we rushing to? Death? What's the point in that? I'm done rushing. Obviously, that doesn't count work deadlines, but luckily our nonprofit job is laid back and deadlines make sense as versus are needed yesterday. Online ordering is always going to have its use cases, but I'm glad I have a routine where I'm able to walk to my local city center almost daily to pick up food and any essentials. Given with full time, it's a valuable moment of the day seeing few familiar faces. Yeah, it's very easy for me to just drive just a few minutes away to the store, so I love libraries and bookshops. Supporting your local bookshop or they will be gone. Please go to the book club. They love to have you. Yes, we're losing. What we're losing is intentionality. As a disabled person who finds it difficult to learn to drive and finding public transport quite unreliable and required to leave the house quite a long time before the appointment with no guarantee I will be there on time, Uber and taxis have been really helpful. It does cost a pretty penny, but it's given me the freedom I need to see friends and meet family members as well as go shopping for groceries. See, this is what I'm saying right here. Like for some people, this is a necessity. It's specifically, disabled people. Every time I tell someone that I enjoyed shopping in person, especially around Christmas, their jaw drops on the floor. Now I can just send them this video instead of having to explain myself. Sure. Giving up my car and biking, taking transit everywhere has definitely helped me with this problem. Makes me question whether I really need that thing at the store across town. I buy groceries more often in smaller amounts, so I'm more conscious of how I spend. I feel more connected to society, and my trips are more intentional. Before long, it will be like the movie Minority Report, where even the simple thought of product will have it ordered and shipped to your house. I mean, true. That could happen. Let's be honest, without Spotify, before buying CDs, people would prefer to pirate music from the internet. Maybe, yeah. I just came to the realization recently and have been explicitly working on enjoying inconvenience, like talking to a cashier will be a dying art from very soon. I'm not even kidding. Huh? Talking to a cashier will be a dying art form very soon. I'm not even kidding. Well, of course. Companies want everyone to use the self checkout. That's people they have to hire to actually work. All right. Well, I think that's going to be it. Interesting little video. Very, very interesting little video. I've come to the realization that perhaps I guess I'm slightly different from most people that because I don't order DoorDash. I don't order Uber. The only thing that I'm subscribed to is YouTube. I don't use TikTok. I don't use Reels. Don't really use social media at all, really. I prefer to go shopping. I don't know. I don't know. It's very weird. It's very weird. It's very weird, but I guess I'm just a weird person. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one, yeah? Take care. Goodbye.